has taught us unconditional love. He has taught our family unity, togetherness, oneness, love. Without him in our family, I guarantee you our life would have took a different turn. A much different, it would have been more selfish. It would have been about our own needs and our own wants and our own ways. I heard somebody say, God chooses, instead of seeing it as, oh God, what have I done? That you've given me a handicapped child. What have I done? Is it a curse? Is it a generational curse? Is it something that I've done wrong? That you're punishing me? Instead, you see it from the opposite, that God chooses special parents. That he saw something in my husband and I. That he chose us to raise him. That it's not a punishment. It's actually a privilege.
What a beautiful spirit. I am here now with Merlyn Persaud's daughter, Alysha. Alysha, I first met you when you came here to interview as an intern, and you told us your family story, and you really touched my heart. Not only growing up with your brother with a disability, with Down syndrome, but your mom struggled with mental illness, your parents sometimes struggled in their marriage. How have you seen God be faithful in the midst of all of that?
When I think back on the life that my family had when we didn't have God, it was a whole different ballgame. And ever since God came in, there's just been significant changes. My brother had, he was struggling with behavioral problems, and then when we started going to church, he changed. My mom was literally the rock of our family. She was praying for my older sister, praying for my dad to get saved, and even when I was little, I didn't even understand who God was, but she was there and she was praying for me, and him coming into our life has made a significant difference.
You know, I know there's people watching right now, and I mean, we haven't been able to unpack all that your family has gone through, but it was significant. And I know people are feeling sometimes like they can't get through what they're facing. You know, maybe they're raising a child with a disability, or maybe their marriage is on the rocks, or dealing with a mental health issue. What would you say to people from what you've seen in your family? What advice would you give them today?
It's important to have patience, and a lot of marriages, from what my parents were telling me, is that when you have a child with a disability, marriages fail. But it was by the grace of God, my parents were able to get through it, even when they didn't have God. And behind the scenes, God was working. And he changed my mom, then changed my dad, and changed my brother. So my advice is that hold on. God knows exactly what he's doing. He chooses parents specifically to carry that responsibility, and my parents were definitely blessed. They're doing an amazing job taking care of my brother.
Such a good word, patience. You know, when you don't see something happening, it doesn't mean it isn't happening. I hope people are holding on to that today. You know, you want to be a media missionary. That's why you intern with us. You're finishing up your senior year at school. Tell me what it means to you to be a media missionary.
I can definitely say in my 5 years of being at Sheridan College, it's a very different environment, and speaking as a young adult, when you're going into that world, you're pretty much nailed down between it being you and God. You know, my parents weren't always there for me. I was living at school for the past 5 years, and I was just brought down to it being me and him, and that's when I really saw him work in my life. Even though my mom got sick, being on my own, it taught me so much, and being an intern here over the summertime, that just showed me so much more, that I have such a passion in spreading the gospel, and I'm so honored that I had the opportunity to do so.
I'm glad our hectic world here didn't scare you off, and we want to keep following your journey. We're cheering for you to be an awesome person in media for God. Thank you so much for coming in just to share some inspiration.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And you know, we're passionate here at Huntley Street to tell God's stories, to talk about what God's doing in the world, what God could do in your life to bring you daily encouragement. I know so many of you have contacted us. You tell us, you pray for us every day. You say how much you appreciate it. And so many of you give, and we just want to thank you for that. And we want to invite those who haven't given, or those who have more to give, to help us out, because we want to keep this ministry moving forward into the future. If you want to see these God stories, if you need this encouragement and you want to cheer us on, please give us a call right now. The number is 1-800-265-3100. You can also go to crossroads.ca/donate. Anything you can do is going to help us move forward. Let's head now over to Lorna.